come here or commit crimes here. That is my number one job. But
Good
what is
ladies,
happening
time's
is
expired.
un-American.
Chair recognizes Mr. Timmons from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governor Hochul, the difference is that the millions of Americans that came through Ellis Island did so legally. I'll yield to my friend from Georgia, Ms. Greene.
Thank you. Governor Hochul, are you a Democrat? Yes or no?
I'm a proud registered Democrat, yes.
Did you support Joe Biden for president? Yes or no?
I did.
Did you support the Biden administration's policies for the past 4 years?
I raised my concerns in many
That's a
meetings
yes
with the
or no
administrations
question.
about how the border was being enforced, and so I raised concerns.
So
I
you
said-
just stated, I'll reclaim my time, you said you're a proud Democrat. You supported Joe Biden for president. Clearly, you supported the Biden administration's policies.
I've
Did
supported
you
many of
swear,
them, yes,
Governor
I have.
Hochul, did you swear an oath to faithfully uphold New York's Constitution and laws?
I certainly did.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to Conservative Perspectives. Today, we're diving into some absolutely explosive footage from a recent congressional hearing that every American needs to see. If you value truth, accountability, and protecting our communities, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more content that mainstream media won't show you. Let's get right into it. I just watched this congressional hearing where Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene absolutely grilled New York Governor Kathy Hochul about sanctuary state policies. And folks, what we witnessed here is exactly why we need strong conservative voices fighting for accountability in our government.
In 2017, New York became a sanctuary state when Governor Cuomo signed Executive Order 170. This states, it directs that no state officers or employees, including law enforcement officers, shall disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement unless required by the law. Do you support this law as governor of New York?
Yes, this pertains to civil enforcement.
So you do enforce sanctuary policies of New York?
I supporting helping law enforcement when it comes and ICE when it comes to.
Thank
dealing
you.
with
I
real
reclaim my
criminals.
time. You support sanctuary policies that have led to the horrific murder of people, Americans. This Fox News got it wrong. It should say monster. Arrested in broad daylight rape of a 13-year-old in a New York park. This girl was raped at knife point in the park near New York Mets Stadium. That's your state, Governor Hochul. New York Post also got it wrong and called him a migrant. That's a monster. Busted in brutal beating of New York PD cops in Times Square are members of bloodthirsty Trinidad Aragua gangs. That's your state where you support your sanctuary state laws. Also, Governor Hochul, do you recognize this image?
Yes.
Where a homeless woman was burned alive by an illegal alien monster, where you uphold the laws to protect these monsters in your state, and then you force the New York citizens that pay taxes to pay for these people. This is the result of your sick and disgusting treasonous laws that you uphold as governor.
New York is not a
I
sanctuary
didn't
state for
recognize you,
criminals.
Ms. Hochul. This is my time. Do you know the name Laken Riley? Do you know the
Yes,
name
I
Laken
do.
Riley?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do. Jose Ibarra murdered 22-year-old Laken Riley. He's an illegal alien monster from Venezuela, convicted of 10 charges. He was first arrested by the Biden administration that you stated that you support. Joe Biden for president, right? Proud Democrat, Governor Hochul. First arrested at the border and released by the Democrats that you support. Then, guess what? He made it to New York because the Biden administration flew illegals all over the country, and your state was one that accepted them. He lived at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Queens, an upscale hotel that was turned into an illegal alien shelter at the taxpayers' expense. $2 million a month went to this hotel. The second time he was arrested was in the state of New York for endangering a child. But he was released quickly before ICE could even issue a detainer, because you support those laws, Governor Hochul. Then he flew, get this is shocking. He flew from the state of New York to my home state in Georgia, and you all paid for it. Because, why? Because it was reticketing, and that was the little gift that you were giving my state by sending monsters there. Costs the state of New York $5 to $10 million a day to feed and house illegals. Are you smiling at me about this?
I'm not.
You look like you got quite a smile on your face.
No.
Because I can tell you
Gentlelady
people,
will not.
this is my time, reclaiming my time.
I'm thinking about
attack the
Georgia.
witness.
Don't you dare
Don't attack the
smile
witness.
about the murder of
No, I'm
Laken
thinking about her
Riley.
parents.
The third
Don't
time,
question
the
how I
third
look.
time Jose
My heart is
Ibarra-
breaking for her
my
parents.
time, Governor Hochul. The third time he was arrested was in the sanctuary city of Athens, another Democrat policy. And then he went on and attempted to rape Laken Riley and murdered her. He murdered her. Let me explain something to you. This little girl right here, she would be alive today if you weren't such a treasonous governor supporting sanctuary laws in the state of New York. This little girl would be alive today, and her mother very much would like for her to be alive. This is outrageous for anybody in this country to support for non-citizens to be able to come in our country, be able to travel wherever they want, and then make taxpayers pay to house them, feed them, and then give them a plane ticket after they had been arrested in their state. That's what you did. You are responsible for the murder of this little girl, Laken Riley. And the Department of Justice should prosecute you for her murder.
Objection. Objection.
I don't care how much you object, and if you
Objection.
support it too,
Objection.
you're
All right.
responsible for her murder.
right.
I yield
Mr.
now,
Lady-
Mr.
gentle-
On
Chairman.
a point of order.
Gentlelady-
On a point of order.
Gentlelady's time's
On a point of
expired.
order.
State your point.
Mr. Chairman, these witnesses have been here for over 4 hours. They've all voluntarily have been engaging with our members with respect. They've all treated our members with respect.
Laken
Our
Riley
rules
is
of
dead
decorum-
forever.
Our rules
Forever.
of decorum.
Forever.
Our
They
rules
can
of
sit
decorum
there all
reclaiming
day.
my time.
Hold on.
Reclaiming
No,
my
wait,
time.
state your point.
I'm
State your-
trying to.
State your
Let
point.
me- let me do it without
It's a
interruption.
point of inquiry,
Our
not a
rules-
debate.
Our
You've had your
rules,
time.
our rules, if you would let me speak, our rules of decorum dictate that our witnesses should be treated with respect, and I ask you to enforce decorum and remind committee members to treat our witnesses with respect.
Our members are treating the witnesses with respect. This is not a courtroom. We engage with the witnesses, and I think everybody's acting within the realm. We haven't cried and screamed when you all are criticizing the current
Accusing them of-
president, even though that's
accusing
in the
them of treason
rules,
and
not to
breaking the
criticize.
law and
All
how
right.
they look,
All right,
that's-
maybe
Mr.
if
Chairman-
if you win the chairmanship, if you all flip the House, you win the chairmanship, then you can do what Ms. Crockett says she's going to do and then try to impeach Trump again or whatever you're all.
Mr. Chairman, is there any chance you would yield me 30 seconds to just respond that we are heartbroken what happened to her family? Laken Riley should be alive today. And I'm so sorry for what happened to her. I truly am what happened. But this has nothing to do with our civil enforcement of the laws. We are always cooperating with criminal investigations, always have, always will. So misstating our policies is not serving the purpose of making sure we have meaningful policies that'll actually move the dime. Why aren't we working together to come up with meaningful immigration reform, secure our borders, do vetting at the
Wait a
border?
minute.
We're simply asking.
We're going to go back. Okay, Governor, with all due respect, there was no, the policy of the previous administration was an open border. It was an open border. You all supported that. Now you're saying we need.
Point of order, whose
You were
time is
saying
it?
you were, no, wait a minute.
Point of
Ms.
inquiry, whose time is it?
Ocasio-Cortez, I will recognize you because I like you.
Thank
But
you.
But here, wait
Thank you
just
so
a
much,
second.
Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that.
Here's the border was open, and you all said nothing. All right, now you said we had to pass legislation. We didn't have to pass legislation. Donald Trump secured the border on the first day. Now, there's no question you all have been obstructing and criticizing and failing to work with this administration in trying to apprehend the criminal illegals. That's what this hearing's about. It's not about theater. It's about trying to get a consensus on working with this administration to deport the criminal illegals.
We do it every day of the week,
Not defend all
Mr.
the people who
Chairman.
are over here illegally, to deport the criminal illegals. So
We do it every day of the
everyone's out
week.
order. I'm going to let Ms.
Not-
Ocasio-Cortez state her point, and then we're going to go to Ro Khanna.
Oh, we can continue. I was just curious whose time it was, but we can proceed.
right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent request.
Okay.
I'd like to seek unanimous consent to enter into the record this tweet. Just happened, stunning. Senator Alex Padilla from California was just forcibly removed from the news conference being held by
Without
DHS.
objection to order. You just have to state the title. Go ahead.
This is the title.
Mr. Lynch. Chair recognizes Mr. Lynch.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent request. This is from MSN. Unquestionably in violation. Judge says U.S. government didn't follow court orders on
Without objection, so ordered.
Deportation. The next one is from Rolling Stone. Trump has now deported multiple U.S. citizens, children with cancer.
Without objection, so ordered.
This is New York Times. L.A. deployments of the military to cost $134
Without
million
objection,
in the
so
last
ordered.
50 days. And lastly, Secretary Hegseth will not commit to obeying the court's order on Marines.
First, let's talk about what happened here. Governor Hochul, a self-proclaimed proud Democrat who supported Biden's disastrous border policies, was forced to defend New York's sanctuary state laws. These are the same policies that have turned American cities into havens for criminals who shouldn't even be in our country in the first place. Representative Greene brought up the heartbreaking case of Laken Riley, a 22-year-old American girl who was brutally murdered by Jose Ibarra, an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. This wasn't just some random crime. People, this was completely preventable. Ibarra was arrested multiple times, including once in New York, but because of sanctuary policies that Governor Hochul supports, he was released instead of being turned over to IC for deportation. Think about this timeline. This criminal was first arrested at the border and released by the Biden administration. Then he made it to New York, where taxpayers were forced to house him at the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Queens at a cost of $2 million per month. When he was arrested again in New York for endangering a child, he was quickly released before IC could even issue a detainer. Then New York actually paid to fly him to Georgia, where he went on to murder Laken Riley. This is the insanity of sanctuary policies. We're literally paying to protect criminals who are here illegally, housing them in upscale hotels while American families struggle to make ends meet, and then when they commit more crimes, we're releasing them to victimize other communities. Governor Hochul tried to defend these policies by saying they only apply to civil enforcement, but that's exactly the problem. When you refuse to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, you're creating safe havens for people who have already broken our laws just by being here illegally. The numbers are staggering. New York is spending $5 to $10 million per day to house and feed people who shouldn't even be in our country. Meanwhile, American citizens are dealing with rising crime rates, struggling with inflation, and watching their tax dollars go to support people who have zero respect for our laws. What really struck me about this hearing was how Representative Greene refused to let Governor Hochul off the hook. She presented case after case of violent crimes committed by illegal immigrants in New York, including the rape of a 13-year-old girl and attacks on NYPD officers. These aren't isolated incidents. Folks, this is a direct result of policies that prioritize protecting criminals over protecting American citizens. The Democrats in the room tried to shut down this questioning by claiming it violated decorum rules. But you know what violates decorum? Laken Riley being murdered because politicians like Governor Hochul care more about virtue signaling than protecting innocent Americans. You know what violates decorum? A 13-year-old girl being raped in a New York park because we refuse to enforce our immigration laws. Governor Hochul's response was telling. She claimed to be heartbroken about Laken Riley's death, but then immediately defended the very policies that made it possible. She talked about working together on meaningful immigration reform, but she's had 4 years under Biden to do exactly that, and instead, we got an open border crisis. This hearing perfectly illustrates the fundamental difference between conservative and liberal approaches to governance. Conservatives believe in the rule of law, protecting American citizens, and holding government officials accountable. Liberals believe in feelings, virtue signaling, and protecting people who break our laws at the expense of law-abiding Americans. The tragedy of Laken Riley's death isn't just that a young woman lost her life. It's that her death was completely preventable if we had leaders who put American citizens first instead of pandering to open border activists. Every single day that sanctuary policies remain in place, more American families are at risk. Every dollar we spend housing illegal immigrants is a dollar that could be helping American veterans, fixing our infrastructure, or supporting American families in need. Representative Greene was absolutely right to call out Governor Hochul's responsibility in Laken Riley's death. When you support policies that protect criminals and refuse to cooperate with federal law enforcement, you bear responsibility for the consequences of those policies. This is why elections matter, patriots. This is why we need strong conservative leaders who will put America first, secure our borders, and end the insanity of sanctuary policies. We can't allow political correctness to take precedence over public safety. The mainstream media will probably attack Representative Greene for being too aggressive in this hearing, but I say she wasn't aggressive enough. American lives are at stake. Our communities are being destroyed by these reckless policies, and it's time for accountability. Governor Hochul and every other politician who supports sanctuary policies should be forced to explain to Laken Riley's family why their political ideology was more important than their daughter's life. They should be forced to explain to every victim of illegal immigrant crime why protecting criminals was more important than protecting American citizens. This hearing shows exactly why we need more fighters like Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress. We need people who aren't afraid to ask the hard questions, demand accountability, and put American citizens first. We need people who understand that being in this country illegally isn't some minor paperwork violation. It's breaking federal law, and there should be consequences. The solution is simple. End sanctuary policies immediately. Require all jurisdictions to cooperate with ICE. Secure the border and enforce our immigration laws. Stop spending taxpayer money to house and transport illegal immigrants. These aren't radical ideas. They're common sense policies that most Americans support. But until we have leaders with the courage to implement these solutions, we're going to keep seeing more tragedies like Laken Riley's murder. We're going to keep watching American communities suffer while politicians' virtues signal about compassion and inclusion. That's why your voice matters, patriots. That's why we need to keep fighting, keep speaking truth, and keep demanding accountability from our elected officials. Laken Riley deserved better. American families deserve better. And we're going to keep fighting until we get leaders who understand that their first responsibility is to American citizens, not to people who break our laws. Thanks for watching Conservative Perspectives. If this content opened your eyes to what's really happening in our government, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more truth that mainstream media won't tell you. Share this with your friends and family because they need to see what's at stake. Until next time, keep fighting for America.